And I really need to see this rear spoiler because I'm not convinced. Some of you might not be convinced either, but this is a one of one. This is literally history.
Why would one of the richest and most influential people on Earth call a YouTube mechanic instead of his own engineers? That's the mystery surrounding reports that Elon Musk contacted Mat Armstrong. Whatever was discussed wasn't just another automotive project. It was something so unusual, so technically demanding, and so unexpected that even longtime fans struggled to believe it. It is the kind of idea that could redefine Mat Armstrong's career forever. The numbers behind the name. The number that keeps most people awake at night when they open Mat Armstrong's channel is not the money. It is the speed of what has happened around him. In April of 2026, his main channel sat at around 6.7 million subscribers. By the start of July, that number had crossed 7.1 million, with over 400,000 new subscribers pouring in across less than 3 months. On some individual days, he added 20,000 people in a single 24-hour window. To put that in normal human terms, entire successful YouTube channels take 5 years to reach what he adds in one calm week. Across all 3 of his channels, his combined subscriber count now sits close to 9.86 million, and his lifetime views are approaching 1.5 billion. Hype Auditor tracks his monthly ad revenue somewhere between $25,000 and $35,000, while other analytics sites push that range closer to $40,000 a month. That works out to somewhere around $340,000 every year from advertising alone, and advertising is the smallest slice of what he actually earns. The real genius of the whole business is that every single wrecked car quietly does 3 jobs at once. The rebuild itself becomes weeks of ad-supported and sponsor-supported video content. The finished car becomes a raffle prize, with tickets running around 10 to 12 pounds each and hundreds of thousands of tickets sold on a single build. The raffle operation itself, in a hidden detail that almost nobody talks about publicly, is run by his own partner Hannah Smith, which keeps that entire revenue stream inside the family. On top of all of that, he keeps pouring his cash into rental properties around Leicester and into a purpose-built supercar workshop with 6 or 7 staff, a full kitchen, a merchandise room, and a set of racing simulators. On the Cars and Money podcast recorded in April, he said something that lands with unusual honesty. His exact words were, quote, "Hard work beats talent. I'm not necessarily talented in a way. I'm not the best mechanic in the world. I'm not the best TV presenter in the world, not the best editor in the world. But together with hard work mixed into one, we've created something." That kind of self-awareness is genuinely rare among creators at his level, and it starts to explain why celebrities and manufacturers keep circling back to his workshop. The subscriber count did not explode because of any random car build. It exploded because one broken British hypercar pulled a real billionaire chief executive straight into a very public confrontation that nobody could look away from. The real chief executive who watched. In the middle of 2025, a 24-year-old Miami influencer named Alex Gonzalez wrapped a $4 million Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport, one of only 60 ever produced, around a concrete barrier. The impact was catastrophic. What should have been one of the world's most exclusive hypercars instantly became one of the internet's most talked about wrecks. Bugatti quoted him $1.7 million to fix it. When he refused, they dropped the number to $600,000. When he still refused, they blacklisted the car's identification number completely, which meant no official dealership on Earth would supply parts for it ever again. On paper, the vehicle became scrap. To almost everyone watching, the story was over before it had even begun. Mat Armstrong walked into that nightmare late in 2025 and took the whole project on. For most people, the idea sounded impossible. Even experienced specialists questioned whether the car could ever return to the road. That is exactly when Mat Armstrong, the actual chief executive of the Bugatti Rimac Group, personally posted a response on Instagram. His words, verbatim, were, quote, "There's been a lot of talk about Bugatti service, repair, and maintenance costs only, and most of what you hear is simply not true." It was polite, it was measured, and it was completely public. Carscoops noted that Rimac was careful to add that he holds Armstrong in high regard and genuinely enjoys watching his videos. That is a genuinely wild sentence to write about a billionaire executive and a driveway mechanic. It instantly turned a YouTube rebuild into an international automotive story. Mat's on-camera reaction afterward was raw and honest in a way scripted videos never are. He said, quote, "It is absolutely mental that the chief executive of Bugatti is one, even watching the videos, and two, made a kind of response video to it." The moment perfectly captured how surreal the entire situation had become. On the Cars and Money podcast, released on the 15th of April, 2026, he softened the whole tension and compared himself and Rimac to Messi and Ronaldo, saying that they both love cars, share mutual friends, and that everything only blew up when the corporate world got tangled into it. It was an unexpectedly respectful way of describing what many people thought had become a public feud. The hidden details from that Bugatti build are where the actual sensation lives, and almost nobody has laid them out clearly. A $700,000 Venuum wide-body kit had to be shipped from Dubai to Miami because Bugatti simply refused to sell body panels. The airbags were quietly sourced from an Audi A3, of all cars. A set of Chiron headlights was collected on a private jet with a 1-hour landing window and cost around 10,000 euros just to move. Every step required finding creative solutions that most manufacturers would never officially approve. The final airbag warning light, the one that could kill the entire electronic system, was solved with a $20 sensor pulled from a Mercedes Vito delivery van. That single $20 fix embarrassed a company that charges $20,000 for a routine service. In the end, the impossible rebuild became much bigger than one crashed Bugatti. It became a story about ingenuity, persistence, and proving that determination can sometimes overcome even the most expensive roadblocks in the automotive world. Rimac was only the first executive pulled into Mat's orbit, and the next one arrived carrying the name of an England footballer and a food bank charity twist. The big names who really reached out. There is a real documented answer to how many big names have been reaching out to Mat, and that list is far more interesting. The Marcus Rashford story is the one moment that made him globally famous overnight. Rashford originally paid around £750,000 for a bespoke Mansory-tuned Rolls-Royce Wraith black badge. After a crash left the car, for the car a total loss, Mat picked it up at salvage auction for £185,000. He then poured $420,000 of his own money into the rebuild. The first video from that project pulled 5.3 million views on its own. What most people completely missed at the time is that Rashford's own management team quietly reached out during the process. They handed over the anti-theft code and the tracker information, and they helped source genuine Mansory parts for him. In return, Mat pledged raffle proceeds toward Fairshare, the food redistribution charity Rashford has publicly supported for years. That single project turned a random car rebuild into something that felt closer to a small act of grace. Then came the Mansory story itself. Kourosh Mansory, the founder of the tuning house whose kits sit on some of the most expensive vehicles on Earth, personally invited Mat to Mansory headquarters in Germany to finish the Rashford Rolls-Royce. That invitation spawned a viral road trip series stretching from Spain to Germany, with a track session at Circuito de Navarra, a Monaco casino night, and rooftop tents thrown into the mix for good measure. The list keeps stretching, in every direction. Adam LZ, one of the largest car creators in the United States, watched Mat buy and rebuild his own wrecked Porsche 911 GT3 after a crash. Freddie Hernandez, better known online as Tavarish, has become a frequent transatlantic collaborator, hosting Mat's American builds and helping him navigate that same Porsche project. Alex Gonzalez from the Bugatti saga essentially called Mat in from a different country to salvage his own life savings on wheels. Every one of these people is a serious name in their own world, and every one of them came looking for him, rather than the other way around. That is exactly the pattern that fabricators saw and twisted for clicks. They took a real story of footballers, tuning magnates, and elite creators calling Mat, and they simply inflated it into an Elon Musk fantasy. The lie is a cheap copy of a truth that was already spectacular on its own. Every one of those figures ended up at his door for the exact same reason, because he had accidentally exposed something the entire luxury car industry had spent decades trying to keep buried. Why Mat became the man everyone calls. The truth behind Mat Armstrong's phone constantly ringing is not what most people assume. It is not that he is the most talented mechanic on earth. It is not that his workshop has some kind of secret piece of technology. It is that he has quietly built his entire brand on breaking through something the supercar world calls gatekeeping. The description of one recent podcast episode put it more bluntly than any journalist has ever dared. It said a $20,000 Bugatti service is largely a magic trick, with parts often shared with a common Volkswagen Passat, and that a $400,000 factory repair bill is sometimes just a fancy way of saying, "We do not want you to see what is under the hood." Mat has spent years quietly proving that description right in front of millions of viewers. He fixed his Bugatti Veyron with parts pulled from a humble Volkswagen Lupo. He walked viewers through a Chiron oil service that costs 20,000 euros. He then took on a Ferrari 296 GTB rebuild and hit a wall almost identical to the Bugatti one, with parts orders blocked and a dashboard flashing the words, "Hybrid system failure, go to dealer." The hybrid battery replacement, he was quoted, came in at £18,000. The episode he posted about that project on the 29th of March 2026 pulled 2.9 million views in the first 48 hours. Ferrari and Bugatti have both used the same defense in public, which is that safety concerns fully justify their factory-only repair policy. Mat's videos exist to test that exact claim in daylight. Then the law caught up with him in a way nobody could have predicted. The European Union Right to Repair Directive, formerly known as Directive 2024/1799, entered into force on the 30th of July 2024, and member states are required to apply it from the 31st of July 2026. It even applies retroactively to certain products sold before that date. The German press agency DPA framed Mat's Bugatti battle as the human face of that legislation. That is not a small statement. That means an entire continent's consumer protection law has effectively adopted a British YouTuber as its recognizable symbol. That reframes everything about him. He is not simply a mechanic who got lucky with clicks. He is a consumer rights insurgent whose videos preview a legal earthquake, and the manufacturers know it. The rumor that broke every feed. Every scroll through YouTube these past few weeks has felt like walking into the same trap laid over and over again. One news after another shows Elon Musk's face pasted right beside a bearded British mechanic, and the words above them keep repeating in slightly different combinations. Elon Musk said 3 words about Mat Armstrong on Joe Rogan. Elon Musk gave Mat Armstrong something that made every car manufacturer go silent. The Toyota chief executive challenged Mat Armstrong to rebuild a $2 million supercar. These titles are pulling millions of views, and yet not a single legitimate news outlet has confirmed even one of them exists in reality. If anyone actually digs into the specific Joe Rogan Experience episode where this three-word moment supposedly happened, the transcript tells a completely different story. The two men spoke for hours about digital superintelligence, about Google Gemini, about doctored photographs, and about the physical shape of Jeff Bezos. Mat Armstrong's name never leaves anyone's mouth in that studio. Bugatti is not mentioned. Ferrari is not mentioned. Not even the concept of a rebuild comes up once. Whatever this famous three-word blessing was supposed to be, it did not exist inside that room. That is what makes the whole thing feel so unsettling to anyone paying attention. Millions of people have watched these videos, shared them with friends, and walked away genuinely believing something happened. Supercar Blondie has been covering Mat obsessively for over a year. Carscoops writes about him almost weekly. Motorious rarely goes a month without a headline connected to his workshop. If Elon Musk had personally reached out to him, those outlets would have published it within hours of the news breaking. Their silence is not lazy reporting. Their silence is the story. There is a very specific psychology to how these rumors work on people. When you see the same claim repeated enough times across enough thumbnails, your brain quietly begins to fill in the missing evidence for you. You start assuming a source must exist somewhere. Somebody must have confirmed it. The truth is often the exact opposite of that instinct. Nobody confirmed anything because there was never anything to confirm in the first place. The rumor was invented, packaged into a template, and served straight into your recommendations before you could think twice about it. What makes this whole moment fascinating rather than boring is the man sitting at the center of it. Fabricators do not build fake stories around unknown people. They do not waste effort attaching Elon Musk's name to somebody who cannot pull a click on their own. Whoever is behind these videos looked across hundreds of thousands of possible names and chose the same one every single time. The same fear the manufacturers hold toward him is the exact thing that makes his name the perfect bait for a machine designed to manufacture fame out of absolutely nothing at all. What Elon would actually want. Everything from this point onward needs to be labeled clearly as speculation, because that is exactly what it is. There is no evidence Elon Musk wants anything built by Mat Armstrong. But if the actual logic of both men's lives were followed honestly, there is one project on Earth that fits the exact overlap between them. That project is a fully road-legal Tesla Cybertruck for the United Kingdom. The Cybertruck is currently illegal on British roads. On the 16th of January 2025, Greater Manchester Police seized a Cyberbeast Cybertruck spotted in Whitefield in the town of Bury. The official statement said the vehicle is not road legal in the United Kingdom and does not hold a certificate of conformity. That is the exact type of story that lands on Mat's desk. A vehicle blocked by a manufacturer's own ecosystem, a locked-down parts and software system, a mountain of engineering problems, and a real legal minefield. It is Bugatti and Ferrari with a different logo on the front. Nothing on Earth would generate more views for both parties than a road-legal British Cybertruck. There is a strange kind of validation buried inside all of this. Fake rumors about a person are the final and most reliable proof that the person has truly arrived. Nobody wastes energy inventing lies about people who cannot pull attention. The lies confirm the fame. The Elon Musk story is invented from start to finish, but the phenomenon that made it believable, the phenomenon that made every viewer pause for half a second and think it might be true, is not invented at all. This whole moment reads like a small preview of something much bigger heading straight for us. As manufacturers keep locking down their vehicles, and as governments keep passing right to repair laws, and as creators keep growing more powerful than the corporations they cover, this same collision is going to keep happening across every industry. Mat Armstrong is simply the first name loud enough to see clearly against the noise. The only real question left standing is, which manufacturer he embarrasses into changing its rules first. So what do you honestly make of this whole storm building around Mat Armstrong? And do you think one of these billionaire rumors will ever turn out to be real? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below, because your take on this one genuinely matters to me.